Hey guys, if this video gets 400 likes on it, I will do a live stream and cover Karl Jobst's bankruptcy options. Now, a little bit about my bankruptcy experience. I have never had to file for bankruptcy myself, nor have any business I've been involved in. But when I was in law school, my last year of law school, I externed for a bankruptcy attorney. So I got to see firsthand how bankruptcy has affected individuals and families. I have a unique perspective on this because that time I was very naive as a lawyer. I wasn't even a lawyer at that time, just a law student. So I was a very naive law student. Bankruptcy is not what Karl Jobst is saying it is. I'm going to read you some of his Discord messages. I do hope this is enough people are interested in learning what bankruptcy actually is, because there are a lot of misconceptions, many of them from Karl Jobst himself. How was Billy's victory Pyrrhic? Isn't he getting a $400K settlement? It's not a settlement, it's a judgment, but it's still a fat sack of money, and Billy does seem as happy as a pig right now. Edited. Yes, it changes my perception on the impact. He won't get it. Okay, now I'm really looking forward to the video. Edited. Karl said, if you take my money, it means you admit to cheating. Honestly, a 300 IQ move on his part by the completely neutral observer, Donald Pump. Yes, Donald Pump is one of Karl's adversary or alliance members, which should tell you a little bit about Karl Jobst right now. So Karl Jobst is saying that Billy Mitchell will not get the settlement amount of money due to bankruptcy. Oh, awesome. I wasn't sure if there was some clause that prevented you from doing that. How can Billy get something I don't have? We are going to cover this in great detail because Karl Jobst is saying that he's going to transfer the house. I don't know how much of this is sarcasm. In the past, Karl Jobst has specifically lied to bait me into making videos. Is that what's happening right now? Or is he actually this naive to believe bankruptcy operates in the way he believes it will? So we have to look at Australian law, but I'm going to give you my basic understanding of the US bankruptcy law, because I actually did want to be a bankruptcy attorney until I externed. And then I realized, this job is probably one of the worst jobs in existence. All your clients are going to get slaughtered by the court. So here, let's continue on. Karl is actually smarter than I thought. When the judgment was announced, he took all his money and bet it on red and lost, so he don't have to pay Billy Mitchell. My YouTube channel is owned by a company. That is my second guess. I never considered that. I have a $1 million house with a $1 million mortgage. That's what Karl Jobst said. Let's break down the YouTube channel owned by the company. Well, in America, it would be really easy to add the company. So when Logan Paul sued CoffeeZilla, he sued Stephen Feinstein and the CoffeeZilla LLC, right? I think it's called Coffee Breaks LLC, doing business as CoffeeZilla. This company that Karl is so certain will protect his YouTube channel is the same company that defamed Billy Mitchell in the judgment. So in the verdict, where did these videos come from, Karl? Yes, they came from you as a person, but what company was running those videos on their channel? That would be the company that you think is protected. Clover Talent, I believe. Channel, pardon me, I take it back. Very common for YouTubers. Management companies do not own channels. Oh, okay, my mistake. So Clover Talent is a management company, so that would have nothing to do with this. Karl was saying that he created a separate company just to protect his YouTube channel. Now, let's talk about Karl. Why did Karl get into this? He accused somebody of cheating, which is ethically bad behavior. Doing this is ethically bad. Karl has ruined, in my opinion, for me, I used to be a huge fan of Karl. You can watch my older videos. I do not like that Karl is doing this. I think Karl doing this will ruin his reputation on YouTube. You cannot trust a word he says from here on out. He's the type of guy, oh, okay, my mistake. My channel is owned by a company, which now the sole director is my wife. Again, if he actually did have a company and his wife was the sole director of it, Billy Mitchell would just sue the wife, right? Because this company has been publishing defamatory statements about Billy Mitchell and Apollo Legend. So I do not know if this is Karl Jobst being sarcastic, but in the US, it is really difficult to sue a person and win for defamation, but it is far easier to sue a company. See Gawker versus, even see Logan Paul versus CoffeeZilla. He has both the company and the person, right? So even if his wife, why would you bring your wife into this, Karl Jobst? Like, I do not understand, because C is going to be held liable for this, either as the company director or personally if they pierce the corporate veil. I'm just an employee of the company. So the wife is the breadwinner, very progressive. W sees an accountant. So again, I hope Karl, because Karl has obviously, for tax reasons, reported the completionist. I hope Karl, this sounds like a very complicated thing, mainly because Karl's wife, according to Karl, does not have to work because he produces one video a month. He's made a statement along those lines. So what is C getting paid from the company? What is Karl getting paid as an employee for the company? Are there any other employees of the company? And like I said, just because you have a company doesn't mean the company cannot be sued. And I would ask, I would just say this: Billy Mitchell can easily add the company to a lawsuit, either new or this current lawsuit that has a verdict already. It is much harder to sue a person than it is to sue a company, or it's much harder to win judgment against a person for defamation than a company. The company is the easy part. The way things are looking, Billy Mitchell will lose $500,000 by suing me. Hopefully his hot sauce coupons make up for it. Use code $500,000 for 10% off. Fortunately for me, most of my costs were crowdfunded. If Karl Jobst is telling the truth about this is why he did the lawsuit. He had nothing to lose. And this should make everyone hate Karl Jobst, right? He crowdfunded this lawsuit. He crowdfunded the lawsuit from either Knots or GoFundMe or some combination. And now he's gloating that he has bankrupted himself, and therefore he put all the assets in his wife's name, and now he feels like he's protected. All this is out in the public. Most of us, okay, so I'll continue on because I'm getting very upset now. The hot sauce is like 24 Australian dollars without postage, massive ripoff. The moral of the story is don't spend $700K suing someone who has a net worth of $200K. So let me go and explain what I always thought this was the case. That Karl will take the GoFundMe money, and if he won, he would run. This is why I needed to do a live stream. Please upvote this video, guys. If you're this far along, you definitely want to see a 4-hour live stream when we break down legally each of these comments. We need to send these to the bankruptcy court. We need to send this video to the bankruptcy court. I need to get in touch with the bankruptcy court and let them know what's going on. Because if this is real, and this is not sarcasm, there are many things that Karl said that he could end up in jail. Forget owing a bunch of money. What Karl was doing, trying to hide assets, is actually criminal. At least in the US, it would be. I would have thought you were at least well off with a house that has shot up in price, so you'd have equity if it's sold. That's why I have anything, but it's jointly owned, so I only own half the equity. Wait, I thought Australians lived off the land, and the bank owns most of it anyway. My mortgage is over $1 million. So this is Karl Jobst, who's so successful and is this big timer, right? Like, people thinking this guy is a multi-millionaire have no idea what they're talking about, and now only the truth. But what is very disturbing, and even in my opinion, we have to look at it from a criminal perspective, which is what he did to the completionist. So I don't want to take anything away from what the completionist did. It was very bad. He behaved in a very unethical way, but he didn't do anything illegal according to the current. He's not in any pending legal cases. Karl Jobst, on the other hand, we are going to talk. I saved the best statement for last because, in my opinion, if this is real, if he was sued, he lost, then he had his wife buy his equity in the home so he doesn't pay Billy Mitchell, and he's admitting so on Discord. Remember, all of this is admission. And you'd be like, oh, that's not fair. No, it's coming from Karl's own mouth. My coverage has been very neutral, in my opinion, because I've just been repeating what Karl said and then giving my legal analysis on what this could mean. Wait until I promise. Okay, so like the video. I promise you we will go live soon and you will all enjoy it because it is actually, we are crossing the line of criminal right now. Okay. Will you redraw on the mortgage or have to sell it? My wife will buy me out. Will buy me out. So C will own it. Why did I read that as a double entendre? I will give exact details in my update video. If my wife wasn't buying me out, then yes, I would have to sell it. Damn, so the lawsuit made Karl the property of his wife now. So his wife currently, the tense that is being used is that to avoid paying for his legal judgments, Karl is saying that his wife will buy him out of the equity from the home. So I don't know how, I have to look into Australia because I don't really think it's that different. But if you're married, you count as one legal entity, right? In many, many cases. And home ownership, the reason the bank gave you a mortgage was because of you, Karl, because you made all the income. Now, to the fact that you don't have any income and you've been sued, then the bank might not have given you a mortgage if this was the situation today. Karl Jobst Gaming, PY Limited, so now he's named the company to be sued. Love to see the asset protection as well. Company director is not at risk person, etc. Obviously got the advice from your wife. This isn't even cheese, it's just standard. Ask any YouTuber of my size, they all have companies for tax reasons. Maybe somebody we should ask is CoffeeZilla. Did his company get, oh yeah, I did. Did CoffeeZilla get sued as an individual? Yes. Did he get sued, his company get sued? Yes, because you cannot tell me. In fact, in many aspects, the company is far more liable because it is a company and it should know better. So this is a farce in every single statement of it's a farce that the equity buyout, if what Karl was saying is true, it's borderline criminal, right? It's borderline criminal to hide your, and people have gone to jail in the US for this, trying to hide assets, largely from IRS, but from the court system as well. The court system is just as scary when it comes to the IRS, if not more scary. I, as somebody who have seen companies bankrupt, understand that the court can be more punishing than even the IRS because it can be faster, right? And it can get the police involved immediately. So this is all to say that this is a whole new can of worms Karl Jobst has opened for us to discuss in a very legal way. The bankruptcy, you bet your ass we're going to cover every inch of this bankruptcy because for many of you, you're interested in what is bankruptcy, and many of the opinions about bankruptcy. Oh, I can just hide my assets. My wife owns the company. We're okay. My wife owns the company. My wife is the sole director of the company. I'm the employee of the company, and I, as the employee of the company, have said something so defamatory. I've lost in court, but it's not my wife. No. If as the director of the company, you bear responsibility for the company, especially if it's a YouTube channel, for what the company is producing. If the company is producing toxic assets or goods, of course they're going to be sued. The company is going to be sued. And then the whole wife, I really, really hope that Karl was joking and just that his Discord channel doesn't understand this is sarcasm, because what Karl has said about having his wife buy the equity and then he would own, and then so the house wouldn't be taken away because his wife would own it. His wife, again, not having a job, according to Karl, right? I guess her only job is that she is the director of the company that defamed Billy Mitchell and that produced videos after video. Why would you bring your wife into this, Karl? So whole thing for Karl has been about cheating, right? An ethical debate about cheating. Now Karl is making this about him trying to hide money from the court. That's what this is. Don't make any mistake about this. This is an individual who lost a massive lawsuit, who does not want to pay. Do you think Karl is the only one who's ever been in this situation? Do you think the bankruptcy court, wow, Karl, you're so smart, you hid your assets so well. Do you think the bankruptcy court is not used to people trying to do what Karl was trying to do? In another case that I covered very early on the channel, Mark's Cards, they were a sports card company that got over $1 million in debt. The court found, and they dug into every bank account, they dug into every charge, and again, like I said, in many aspects, they are much scarier than the IRS because they're faster. And they have police enforcement, should they want to use it that route. Is what Karl Jobst, if it is true what he's saying, he's trying to hide money. He is trying to hide money so he cannot pay Billy Mitchell because he's so smart. The court, it will never figure this out. A court that has to deal with Karl Jobst's characters every single day, every single year for decades on end, with maybe a century of bankruptcy hearings behind it. They're so dumb. Karl Jobst got them. Karl Jobst is so smart. He outsmarted the bankruptcy judges, just like how he outsmarted the judge, that now he's saying that he's a clueless judge, right? Cat is saying this. If Karl does not apologize, we will contact the court and we will send this video to them. And anytime they want access to me and in my opinions, just like as Karl did Twin Galaxy, I'm the new Karl Jobst. And Karl Jobst is the new Billy Mitchell. Except I'm not going to say anything defamatory. So anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And then people are like, oh, you said no. I use Karl's own words. I read court documents. It is very hard to prove defamation when you're the one saying it. Like, it's a whole completeness thing. He thinks that he's probably going to sue me for defamation when, where did the statements come from? From Karl. It's kind of this ridiculous thing where the person who is attempting to sue for defamation is defaming himself in an attempt to get sued for defamation. So ethically, in my personal opinion, from what I've seen in my coverage of this, I think this is way worse than cheating at speedrunning. The allegations, again, alleged allegations of cheating. I think this is somebody who doesn't want to pay their debts, somebody who crowdfunded their way and is now gloating about how he didn't pay any money, or he paid a very little amount of money and he crowdfunded his way to success or loss. He's never going to recover from this. He will never recover his reputation from this. Forget the money, Karl. This behavior is obnoxious. It is way more unethical, in my opinion, and possibly even illegal. Civilly, you definitely have a lawsuit on this hand, right? You definitely have a lawsuit. And even criminally, hiding money when you owe money to court, and that's who you owe money to, Karl. That's who you have to pay, and then the court pays Billy Mitchell. The court makes sure that the payment goes to Billy Mitchell. It is the court's judgment that you are fighting right now. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. And 400 likes, we go live whenever we hit 400. If we hit 400, I think I can bring a lot of value to this bankruptcy thing, because there are a lot of things Karl Jobst just said that is not true. So we have to research the Australian version and see how different it is from the US version. Already on the top of my head, right? The idea that his company is safe. No, the company is the one defaming it. So in the US, you would have sued both of them, right? Maybe the company doesn't exist. Maybe, and then the whole mortgage thing is ridiculous, right? The equity in the house. I do not know if in Australia this stuff is all legal, and maybe I'm wrong, and you can do this stuff in Australia. Mother effort, everyone just bankrupt. Everyone just go to casino, gamble all your money, and bankrupt, because why the hell not?